How's it going, Mason?
Pretty good, pretty good.
How's it going, Dave?
Beating down some Space Wolf scum. Good.
Dave rolling the dice with the cool nerve of a seasoned pro.
So it's the Arjax hammer hits and the Cyclone missile launcher hits.
Oh, that's awesome.
Arjax.
All right. Yeah, I don't know what else is on this. Oh yeah, I was showing your game. Okay, so we're holding a little tournament today. Yeah, 8 people. There you go. There's no shame in it.
Yeah.
So Mason, talk about Epidemius. That's been kind of your little revelation for a Death Guard army.
Last game, he's pretty nasty just because of, like, after, when you first start out, he's not that great. But like as the game goes along, the tally goes up.
Right.
And
well, you were at the maximum tally, which was...
They ignore armor saves, they get 3 up, feel no pains, which they always get.
And ignore armor saves is different than the AP of the whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it?
It's nasty.
Right?
So it's all around bad.
And Mason's got this awesomely converted Nurgle army. So basically you bring Epidemius as an HQ, and you bring a unit of Plague Bearers, which is, and it's great. I mean, what a great,
That's what they used to have it.
It's opening up this huge vista of different army types that you could have and things and theming it. Things. Anyway, what about you, Dave? Tell us the sickest thing about 6th edition.
Wound allocation.
There it is.
Yeah, look at
Okay, so what's going to be the top 3 armies to beat in 6th edition?
Space Wolves, number 1.
Okay.
Grey Knights still pretty good, but there's a Dark Eldar mix you can do that's gross. And then, because psychic powers are so big, and Eldar Runes of Warding still shut everything down on, that you still have to roll 3 and put them together to cast your psychic stuff.
Table wide.
What's that?
Right? The whole table.
Yeah, the whole table. And Dark Eldar and Eldar are brothers in arms, so you can bring a. I don't even want to say this on the internet because people start doing it, but you can bring a Seer Council with a Dark Eldar Archon and a Shadow Field attached to it, and then fortune them, and just make sure he's in front to take everything, and it's almost unkillable. And then the third army, I don't know. I haven't really thought of a third army yet.
All right, sounds good, thanks. So check it out, folks. Here's Thomas. He's back. He's still in the U.S. He's been to Las Vegas and the Grand Canyon. And this is Thomas's Necron army. He was holding out on us at Valhalla.
So 6 so far.
I'm loving it.
In the cannon. 6
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Cosplayers. All right, Thomas. Hold on a second. Tell us about 6th edition.
Pretty brutal.
What's the army? What's the army you're going to run? You're dreaming up armies.
Space
I know what you are.
Man. Space Wolves with a fat unit of Thunderwolf Lords. They're all independent characters, and they run as a unit. And so you hit them and do some wound to them. They have a 2-up, 3-up save on every one of them. They're all toughness 5. And one of them's like, oh, well, I don't want to take that wound. On a 2 or better, I give it to this guy. And then here's the even grosser part. Each one of those guys can bring 2 Fenrisian Wolves and can join each other. So you have a unit of 4 Thunderwolf Lords that are like 250 points each or more,
right?
With 2 Fenrisian Wolves apiece. So they basically have like 8 Fenrisian Wolves that die before they take a single wound.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
So you have to shoot them down.
Hold
on. How many wounds each do they have?
3 wounds apiece. They
all have
They're
toughness 5.
They're toughness 5.
2-up armor save.
2-up armor save, 3-up invulnerable save.
Okay, so you need, let's say average shot is strength 4.
Right.
So you need, that's right. So you need 3 shots, 3 hits to get a wound, right?
Yes.
And then you're going to save. You're going to save 2 out of 6, or 5 out of 6 times. 1 out of 6 times.
Right, and then when I fail to save that, I roll again.
Hold on, I'm getting to the wolves. I'm getting to the wolves. Just bear it out. Bear it out. Okay. So you need 18 hits to do 1 wound on this unit.
Yes.
And as we saw, like with my 2,500 point Necron army, typically you're only going to be getting like 50 to 70 shots if the whole army shoots at something, right? So basically, against this unit, you have to spend your whole, a shooting army has to spend a whole turn just to do 3 wounds.
It's probably not quite that bad, but yes, it's.
Well,
like,
we saw it with the Fate Weaver,
Right.
because that was 1 in 9 chance of getting through.
Right.
Right.
Well, and this is the nasty thing about this is there's.
So what's the counter to it?
Some other unit that's like it. They crash and they have a fight. But here's the problem too. Like they're all independent characters. So when I get close to your line, I can be like, oh, they're in this movement phase. All of my guys break off and go do their own thing.
Right.
And we charge.
Now,
them for
could you have the same thing and have like, 4 winged hive tyrants running with a unit of shrikes, for example?
Are Hive Tyrants independent characters?
What?
They can join.
What? What? All right, I demand go get the rule book. Get the
They are
rule book.
monstrous creatures. I'm almost positive he's
Are
right.
they?
But the difference is they can fly.
Yeah. Well, I heard it at a local shop. And by the way, this is why I think 6th edition is great. It's like, you know what? Just 1, 2, find them and make an awesome list of your own. Which is a guy who was running, I think it was 6 harpies and 4 winged hive tyrants. And isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that's pretty gross. I don't want to face that.
I'm ready. Even with your Thunderwolf guys? Thunder,
but
thunder, 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 wolves!
Here's the weakness of my Thunderwolves. The great part about them is that they can move 12 inches. They're never
Yeah.
slowed down.
Right.
Then they're fleet, so they can
Right.
re-roll their run roll the first turn. So they're 18
Right.
inches up the first turn. Then they move 12 again, and they're fleet, so they're going to re-roll their charge
Right.
results.
They're just so
they're
fast.
going to get in your face, and they're going to charge, and they're going to do all kinds of close combat damage. Here's the problem with that list. That unit is like is over 1,000 points.
Right.
So that's half my army. So basically that means all of my other guys are weaker. Like I have 2 troops choices in there, and they're pretty good troop choices. And I can max my troop choices. I can do
Right.
more. But I chose to take 2 troop choices, and so that's the weakness of that list. Is
Right.
well, he's only got 2 troops choices. Just shoot his troops.
Right. Well, you got to look at the missions. All the missions now are objective based
There's
for
only
the most
one
part.
that's not objective.
Right. So there's that too.
There's 6 missions, not 3.
Yeah. So when I'm looking at lists, I'm thinking, okay, well, what would it be like if I took a list with 240 Necron warriors?
Just having too much fun.
Pretty gross.
Right?
Especially if you let them with Oakland.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's that. Anyway, no one can doubt that new vistas of possibilities are being opened.
They are indeed.
Hey there! Guess what? It's later that night. We're in my study, actually the guest room with this resin table and my computer. So, right. Well, I guess we have all evening then, don't we? Anyway, put on some casual clothes and had dinner. Dinner with the fam is awesome. My wife grilled up some zucchini and some steak. And yeah, we've been taking it easy on the meat recently. And yeah, I go upstairs and it's just like all fruits and vegetables. Grains and good stuff. So isn't that exciting? Alright, yeah, so, but that's more suited for my Gately Musings channel. Let's talk about Warhammer 40k 6th edition. I'm sure most of you are probably, not most of you, I bet some of you are like, hey, how about some War Machine and Hordes, right? Can you give me a thumbs up for War Machines and Hordes? Still going, by the way. Just, you know, you guys know these things happen in cycles. And so, yeah, Warhammer 6th edition. Got some thoughts about it now. So here's the deal. I love it. I love Double Force Orc. I love Allies. Because I've always been into building themed lists. So, but if you think about it, how did it used to be? You had your army books, and once you picked your army book, that was it. That one army book was the thing that you had to work with. So people would take each army, and they would look inside that army for the most competitive build or builds. Now some of the armies, because they were, some of the army books, because they were older, they would only yield possibly as little as one good build. Like, that was the way to make the most competitive version of that army. And also, let's face it, even if you're a casual gamer and you play for fun, well, it's no fun losing all the time. So, and then some lists, so what comes to mind is Tau. Like Tau they more or less just have the same thing. You might take a hammerhead instead of broadsides, but more or less you really just kind of picked, the roughly like that. That was the way to build it. And and then there were other lists with multiple good builds in them, and like Dark Eldar. Dark Eldar actually had, my favorite was always something I picked up, an internet list called the Shiv, or that I heard once was called that, which is the like Venoms, Trueborn, and 6 troop slots with Venoms in them. And yeah, loving the Double Force Org. That's making me extremely happy. So, but anyway, but now it's like you can't, I don't think there's going to be that anymore. The age of that, where it was like, okay, here's the army books, here's 1 or 2 or possibly maybe even 3 good builds out of each one. And so you would go to a tournament and you would see more or less duplicated all around, like this was the thing to take. And I think that those days are gone because of allies. So we had this tournament today, and it was a qualifier tournament, so some semi-serious and serious players there. There's only few, like 8, which I guess is not a horrible turnout. So I saw a Grey Knights army with some Orc Knobs in it. And I always thought that would like offend the sensibilities. It's because I'm kind of a purist. I'm the type who would build a Demon's army and like it could only be 1 Chaos God because thematically, it'd be like, don't let your peas and your mashed potatoes touch on the plate. And, but I actually thought it was pretty cool. I was like, I wonder why they're doing that. In the game world, what is that? Did these orcs just show up? Did they, forge a temporary alliance? I thought that was really neat. And in the game, it was okay. It was like everyone wasn't so weirded out about that. It's like, okay, you brought that. Let's see how that works. And yeah, and he got shredded. He went up against a Necron player, and the Orc Bikers just got shredded. And there's solutions for all these things, and everyone's working it out. But I think what'll happen is, because it used to be kind of like pointed, there was like, these are the top competitive lists, and there's only like 10 of them. And then down here you have kind of, and then there's all the other things you could have done, but you really couldn't do that. But now it's like, this new flavors are coming out, like, wow, what about this? You won't know what to expect. And I think that in itself, the unexpectedness of it, is what's going to make the game balanced. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to hear about sick combos, but guess what? There's going to be a lot of those. And you never know when they're going to show up. You just never know. And they brought lists like just out of the woodwork of how you could do that. And you could do counts as, like what about a like an Eldar Seer Council has some pretty awesome potential there. What if you modeled a Tau Ethereal Council out of those old ethereal models that no one's using? Wouldn't that be neat, right? So my mind is just being blown with how great the possibilities are. It's making me real excited. So I want to talk to you about what I'm doing, because I am a bit of a purist and I play for fun. But as you may notice, I don't do too bad. I hold my own, and I guess years of getting my behind kicked have finally paid off. So what you're going to find is that you can get on the Blue Table Painting web store. By the way, please go to the web store. Make my weekend and pick up one of those armies. Or go, time to get off the benches and pick up just a little something. off of the web store. I've done shipping, so it goes down the larger the order is. And no, I don't. I've thought of doing free shipping, but then you really do just have to kind of include it. And I think that's what's happening at Games Workshop, where the smaller items are like getting to be like, wow, that's quite a bit. Well, it's because the fact is shipping factors in. We spend more on shipping costs than on rent. Other than payroll, and bear in mind we're a service industry. Okay, other than that, shipping is the highest cost for my company. It is, people don't know what they're up against when they're going shipping. So, shopping. So yeah, but go to the web store, and their stuff, our baseline is half off. It goes down even from there, and it works out. It's sustainable. We love the trade-ins. We split it all up into manageable pieces, and there's really some super deals on the web store. I think right now we have at least 700 listings, and that is a lot to go through. And we're not even halfway there. We're going to have a lot in the next month. So, okay, let us talk about Sean's Necron army. Oh, yes. So, kind of the thing that's coming out is people are starting to do like Thomas was talking about, these kind of Death Star units. And because of wound allocation, and by the way, I can't think of any way around that. But you know what? Get over it. Find a way. How do you counter that? It's there. And you can get whatever it is that's the counter to that, you can get plenty of it, because you can have 4 HQs and 12 troops. So right now I kind of got my heart set on 200 Necron warriors. What would that look like on a board? Like your deployment zone just packed with phalanx after phalanx of Necron that just kind of like... I want to try that at least once. Oh, and by the way, we have them. I got some Necron trades coming in. Mwah! Fantastico! In fact, I'm going to read you one right now. Okay, so yeah, you're going to have to kind of look at the back of my head here. So, okay, here it comes. So some of this is going to be sold off, the painted part, right? Okay, am I even in the shot? So the painted part's going to be sold off. And then I'm going to take the unpainted part and I'm going to incorporate most of it into this new rusted Necrons army. There we go, that's a little better. Okay, 56 painted warriors, tons of scarabs, like 70 of them, 34 unpainted, unassembled warriors. I've already got 50 warriors being done up right now. They're actually almost all the way through painting. And I just for kicks, at least once, we're going to do like at least 120 Necron warriors and see what happens with that. Because a Necron warrior has the potential, through firepower, to kill anything. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's continue. 2 monoliths, those are painted by BTP. 1 unpainted monolith. 17 painted destroyers of various types. 3 unpainted. Lords, special characters, Necron lords, cryptex, flayed ones, old flayed ones, by the way, which is a better sculpt. Yeah, I actually looked into that myself. Death Marks, a Deceiver, Nightbringer, Tomb Spider, those are the old ones. A Forge World Pylon. Oh, that's going to go into my Necron fortification. And a Tomb Stalker. Going to have to try that one out. I have no idea what that's about. And a bunch of Praetorians, Lich Guards, which, quite frankly, I convert those into whatever it is. I convert those into cryptex. That's what I do with them. By the way, I am going to talk on this update as much as I want. How do you like that? Oh, here it comes. Okay, so here's a trade coming in. It's a Dark Eldar army, right? So there's that. And a Triarch Stalker, which I'm including in my thing. 15 immortals, which I'm going to include as well. And that's maybe how I mix it up. I'll put regular warriors and immortals in there for kicks. 12 wraiths, the current ones. Oh yeah, gotta try that out. 2 doom scythes and 3 canoptic spiders. So that's a different trade coming in. Yeah, super exciting, huh? So by the way, that army's going to hit 3,000 pretty quick. Going to do that rusted because, as you know, I sold the other one already, and isn't that nice? So. But you know, you got 28 employees, let me tell you, a lot of money comes in, a lot of money goes out. And I'm glad for it. Isn't that neat? People are getting food, shelter, entertainment, water, clothing. All those necessities of life are coming out of that. Yeah. So, what am I going to do? What am I going to do about 6 wolf lords with the Fenrisian wolves, right? Observez-vous. Here it comes. Necrons are full. Okay, first off, in Dark Eldar, implosion missiles. That's all I have to say is implosion missiles. Secondly, well, you'd have to peel off those Fenrisian wolves, first off. A Doom Scythe is, it can come in from reserve, or maybe it's just on the board already. So here's how the Doom Scythe works, is that you nominate a point, so a dot, within the range of the weapon, which is 12 inches, and then you nominate a second point within 3d6 inches of the first. So you don't point in a direction and then roll your 3d6. You roll your 3d6, then you nominate your point, right? How else will you know where the point is? Okay, then after you've done that, draw a straight line between the 2 points. Every unit, friendly or enemy, underneath the line suffers a number of hits equal to the number of models in the unit underneath the line. If the vehicle's other weaponry is fired in the same shooting phase, it must be fired at one of the units hit by the death ray. By the way, strength is 10, AP is 1. Oh my. There go them wolf lords. Aren't they lovely? Except the one that has Eternal Warrior for some reason. I don't know, do they have that? Let us continue. First off, so Necrons can have the unit of Doom. Here's how they get it. They get a Royal Court, which is up to 5 Necron Lords and 5 Cryptex. So you can have 10 guys, kind of like a Seer Council for Eldar. And who wrote this codex? This is an awesome codex. Let's see who it's by. Here you go. Matthew Ward. So whoever that is, good job. Excellent codex. Very imaginative. So, what else? Oh, and then you could put in up to 4 overlords. Okay, and I noticed the equipment for the overlords is kind of the same as the regular lords. So you can have a Phyclattery, which helps you come back from the dead. Isn't that neat? Okay, so here it is. Ready? So in this unit, you could conceivably have up to 9 of the models equipped with this thing called a Tesseract Labyrinth. Shall we read on? 1 use only. The bearer can use it instead of making their close combat attacks. Choose, mind you, a character or monstrous creature in base contact with the bearer. Okay, so this is not Look Out Sir time. Look Out Sir is when a wound or unsaved wound is allocated. I've not allocated a wound. I've simply chosen this model for an effect. A monstrous creature or character in base contact with the bearer. The victim must immediately roll equal to or under its remaining wounds on a die 6 or be trapped within the Tesseract Labyrinth forever. Remove as a casualty with no saves of any kind. Blam! Right? All I gotta do now is deliver it. So there's counters, there's ways around it. Here's another one. Here's a fave. And by the way, you could give these same 9 creatures in this one unit this as on top of the Tesseract Labyrinth. At the start of the assault phase, after any assault moves have been made, but before any blows are struck, randomly select an enemy model in base contact with the bear. By the way, more than likely, in the case of the Wolf Lords, you're only in contact with one person. They must pass a leadership test on 3d6. By the way, that's about a 60% chance of that happening to them. 40% chance of passing. Maybe 45. If the test is failed, they strike their own unit. Ha ha ha! Wouldn't that just be rich? Okay, come hither, right? So you zap some into the labyrinths, you mind shackle some of them, maybe one of these Wolf Lords, whoever it is, maybe it's that stupid Fate Weaver guy. Of course, getting this unit in contact with that creature would be really tough. But my point is, there's ways around this stuff. You know, just select, and I could just change this up completely the next game, not take that war gear, just do a different thing. So a golden age of lots of different options is before us, and I think it's super. Everything has its counter, which is, oh my gosh, the Necron warriors. Wow. They are 13 points each, so you get 100 for 1,300 points. Ha! I still have 1,200 points to spend on goodies, right? So can't wait to try that one out. Yep, and I'm still looking at the Cryptex. Like, how could that be? And you could get them into a Ghost Ark or other thing. You could get them into a Night Scythe, because dedicated transports, the unit that's normally in them doesn't have to start. You can just separate it completely, and then have on turn 1 have the Night Scythe pick up your court, right? Move it to some strategic location safely, and then drop down. Of course, that stuff I just described isn't a shooting weapon, right? So, but I wonder what else you could give, like the Cryptex, what kind of things they could have, you know? So anyway, well, yeah, that's the Necrons. I can see them getting out of hand really quick. Like, I just keep adding things to it. Yeah, so Necrons are good. I like them. Love the models, love kind of the weird science thing they got going on. And yeah, so welcome to my world. Also, in other news, I've long had a dream with the studio, and I've wrestled with this for years, for like 4 years. At the time I brought Sarah on in early 2008, I was kind of struggling with this idea. Where was I going to take the company? And I had this idea of a band of brothers, that I have like this elite cadre of artists, and they'd all be like dedicated to the cause, rah. And yeah, now I've kind of gone back and forth with it, but mostly like I kind of wanted that, I did want that all these many years. But you know what? It's not the nature of humans. There's no way I'm wise enough to know what's going to make somebody else happy. All I can do is create what I'm creating as best I can, and with all the risk that comes with it. I'm not so, full of myself that I think everything I do is going to be automatically successful. It's, it's just hard work. You make the best decisions you can. But anyway, create what I'm creating, and then people are going to come and go. They're going to come and go out of that. And I think because of the nature of it, of how beautiful it is, and the artistic and creative part of it, I think I'll have people who leave for a while and then they come back to it, and we'll see. We'll really see where things grow. I for one, I'm really super excited about it, and as usual, I just want to express my great gratitude. I think it's really super that I put up a video and thousands of people watch it, and that's really keen. And so I'm humbled, I'm grateful for it, and I can't wait. And so you've been part of this great journey. Many of you remember back from when I was taking the the like the videos were 3 minutes maximum because I was taking them on my little digital camera, and I would do like 30-part battle reports, you know, and that I just, you know, when I started doing YouTube, I was in not a good place in my life. It was very challenging. Effective blue table painting has kind of failed a couple of times en route, where it's just kind of, then I'm like, all right, let's rebuild this, let's figure out how to do it, back to the, like Wile E. Coyote, back to the drawing board. And and now I think, wow, I warned you it would be as long as I want it. So use me as your radio if you wish. I heard people paint. Can you speak up? Pipe up if you paint figures to these videos. So anyway, where was I going with that? I totally lost my train of thought. Hold on.